Everyone wants to do a tutorial on the session joiner. The session joiner is the component name for these active session plates. You can see here I've got both the new one and the old one. I prefer the old one as it's a little bit quieter. You can actually customize them, and I'll show you how to go about doing that. So you might want to make your own custom one if you'd like some tweaks here. So the first thing I want to show is how to hide headless sessions. We have a lot of these open right now, and it might be desirable to filter them out. So if you select the session joiner here, you'll find you're in the middle of some hierarchy here. If you just go to the top, you'll see a session joiner root object, and on this object is the SessionOrbsController, and this is what's controlling them being added. You can see here there is a spawn radius, which controls how far away from the center of the object they're spawning, and also a spawn height, which is the minimum height that they can go to. You can see they kind of like jump around a little bit. It might actually be the max height. I think that's the max height. So you can see them jumping around a lot in terms of their height from that center. You can also here see max orbs. Now max orbs controls how many are shown. People have asked how this scales, and the way it scales is by this number here. It defaults to 30. You could raise this if you want to have like a crazy time, or you can lower this if you want to see a more focused view. It should show the top X number of sessions there. So if we were to enter, say, 5 here, I'm not sure if it updates live. It does update live with the other checkbox I tested out, but it looks like it's not going to clear those. So I'll reset that back to 30. But if you update that to 5, it will clear out when the sessions close. The next option is the Show Headless checkbox. When you uncheck this, you'll see all the blue worlds disappear, and that lets you focus purely on the user-hosted sessions that have people in them. It would be good to see from the team more options for this, but I wanted to show you what the existing one looked like so you could play around with it a little bit. As for customizing it, you'll see that the session orb controller has a root node here. You'll see _root. This specifies a object which the world orbs are then parented under. So you can see here the root here is just a blank slot. There is nothing within it. So if you would like the session or joiner to be different or look different, you can edit everything else about it. So you could edit the font here. You can also edit the base. This is like the visual of it. So if I turn that off, you'll see that the world orb joiner just becomes a floating one in the world. So you could replace that with any other like material that you did. One thing which I did early on, I haven't done it since because I haven't really had a world which I hang out in and build. I usually just like go build in an object for the project. Is what I did was I took this this regular plate and I would flip it upside down, and that's a bit hard to do because the world plate by itself has a slider on it. So look out for a video on sliders soon. They're super cool. But what I did here was I rotated it. So if we rotate this on the Z-axis by 180, you'll see it's now upside down. And then what I did was I increased the scale a little bit. I think I did 5. And then I put it like high in the sky of the world I was building in. I deleted the text here as well, which you can do if we just go back into it. I went to the top here and I deleted the title thing here, and then I also deleted the base. And then what you get here is like just a kind of floating sky of worlds to look at. And I always like this because I would build down here and then I could look up and I could see what people are doing. You'll notice here that the world orb pictures will be upside down, but the information about the world orb will not be upside down. So you see XR Open Lab and then his XR Open Lab upside down with their hand reaching into the sky. Hope that's helpful. Look forward to seeing some custom session joiners. You could also do logics or other handling with the world orbs. I'll show you what they look like. I will do a separate video on like how to play with them a little bit. I have quite a few objects which use world orb properties to do various things. But if you go into here, you'll see that there's various things you can play with here to customize them, and you could do that with logics. You could also make them smaller or larger depending on how many people are in them. You would have to descend here to the users here. which shows how many users are within a world. So you could say like, hey, the scale of this orb is affected by the number of users within it. You just have to do a lot of sort of find by child on that one. That's it for the session world joiner, session orb joiner. It's a long name, I'm sorry. Session orb controller, that's the one. Let me know if you'd like more information on this. I will be turning off headless on one world plate and leaving headless on another one, just so I can focus depending on that without going backwards and forwards. It actually might be better to, you know what, we're going to do that. Let me undo a few things. There we go. I'm going to make a checkbox which turns on or off the headless sessions here. So if we go to create new object, Neos UI checkbox, we can put that checkbox kind of like here. And then we need to open up an inspector for both of them. So here's an inspector for the world session joiner, and then here's the checkbox. So we'll go up to session joiner here, we'll look for show headless, and then we will copy the show headless by grabbing it and dropping that on the Neos checkbox drive field. Then I will parent the checkbox to the session joiner. And then I'm also going to go to the checkbox here, and I'm going to change the style here. Can you use a shortcut for this? It requires a component called Neos UI style. I can never find that within the component list, so I have a component clone tip for it. You can find that in my public folder. It's under Logix for some reason, but Logix component copy, and I think Neos UI style is there. Where is it? Oh, I found it. Here we are. Neos UI style. So with Neos UI style added to the checkbox, you can then change the color of it. I'll do like a more general tutorial on like how I manage the UI and colors of the various UI you see in the world here, but essentially if you grab the Neos UI style here and drop it into the style property of most Neos UI stuff, so you'll see here style, drop that in, it will enable you to edit it a little bit. So now that that's in, and I think I set dry field. Did I set dry field? I did set dry field. I'm also going to remove grabbable, so it's not grabbable by itself. I'm just going to approximate it being pink as well, so that it matches the plate that it's on. So pink. Close enough. There we go. And so now when I turn on this checkbox, all the blue orbs appear. I turn it off, and all the blue orbs disappear. We'll leave it here. I could talk about a lot of things more, but I think that's enough to be going on with. I was just startled by this world here, Viridian Island, because it says it's headless, but it's not running headless. That could be a bug, or it could actually just be a non-headless world where someone's got an AFK computer. Hope that's helpful. See you soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.